All right, we're back. We're live. It's been a while. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's been 5 or 6 weeks. The longest time yet. Maybe not the longest time. We went a while after Woods was born. But we've been sitting on this one for a while. Haven't had a chance to fit in any magic, but we're back with another album review, and I'm very excited for. I was sad to cancel last week when I was feeling under the weather because I've been really enjoying this one. Well, I guess I should introduce myself as I usually do. It's DJ Falling Up G with Best Friends Strangled Angles. David and Paul here to do another album review. We've been doing a few of these, had a ton of fun with them, getting us to listen to music. We love talking music together, so we're back with Ghost City by Delta Sleep. And as per usual, I'll kind of kick us off and just give an overview of, it's been a while since we've done this, so I'm refreshing my memory a little bit for myself even, but how we've approached this in the past. We've basically just kind of give some background on how we know the band, which so far up to this point has been, there's I guess era we both knew, but has been kind of one of the two of us for the past couple. One of the two of us knows the band, the other one doesn't really, which has been fun. So just kind of that background from you. I'll be curious because we've talked about Delta Sleep before, but I don't think I know like a lot about how much. I'll be curious to know how much you've actually heard from them now that I know one album by them pretty well, and then give a little bit of background on just how we approach the album for this review. And then we can just kind of go through like we have track by track and talk about what we thought about everything. So yeah, I guess I already alluded to this, but I did not know this band at all before, other than knowing that you liked them, and I knew that you specifically liked their live show too. That was something you talked about, which isn't super relevant for reviewing the album, but it's just a fun fact I knew about them, which is always fun to know when a band can pull it off live. And then like Nick likes them too. Like I know you and Nick have talked about Delta Sleep together at some of our hangouts. So I think maybe he went to a live show with you?
Yeah, we've actually been to two together.
Two, okay. Yeah, that's sweet. They seem like a band that'd be awesome to see live. So I pretty much just knew you liked them, and I also did know that this was a concept album. You had told me that. So I had that context. But I didn't know anything about what it was about. I just knew it was a concept album. So yeah, tell me about your Delta Sleep journey and beyond Ghost City, what you've listened to, and what was like what you listened to first. I'm curious.
Yeah, so this album is the first that I listened to of Delta Sleep. It's not their first work, but it was I think it's their first full length. They had like multiple EPs before this, which I have.
Oh, didn't they have Twin Galaxies? I thought was that not a?
Well, Twin Galaxies. I guess that's a full album. It's a short album, so I guess I think of it as.
I didn't realize
but no, it's an album. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like 8 songs, and there's some short ones on there.
Oh, it's 11 songs, or is some of them?
11 songs. You're right. No, it's 11 songs.
It does have a 57-second song.
Yeah. No, that's a full album. You're right. So it's their second full length. My bad. But yeah, no. I think Nick, our friend Nick, was the first one to share Delta Sleep with me. I think. I can't remember 100%. I just know I heard like someone shared one song with me from this album. And from there I just listened to this album a bunch, got super into it. And since then I've dove into their entire catalog.
Okay, you know all the albums now at this point.
I'm definitely, a devoted listener at this point. Okay. I'm caught up with their, they've released 2 more new albums since this one, and they're great. I've gone to 2 shows with Nick, and a third show with my wife Anna.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so you've seen them all.
Yeah, so I mean, and honestly, all 3 shows have been great. I will say the one show with the second show with Nick, they weren't the headliner. And it wasn't as good.
They didn't have as much time. Do you think that was it, or?
I think a big part of it is like the other 2 shows that we went to, they were the headliner, and the crowd was there for Delta Sleep. And the one where they weren't the headliner, the crowd wasn't there for Delta Sleep, so they didn't know any of the songs, and it just it was amazing how much of a difference that made. Like just having the whole crowd shouting the lyrics just makes it so much more emotional and intense,
Yep.
But not to say it wasn't a good performance. Like they still put on a good show.
Mm-hmm.
But
that makes a difference, though.
definitely, if you're gonna see him, try to see him as the headliner. Yeah.
So how?
But
Yeah. So I went into this album thinking. So coming into this album for me, not having listened to them, I did feel pretty sure, and this is what's fun about doing that. One thing that's fun about doing this, I was pretty sure I'd like it. Like everything I'd heard about, like I knew, the little I knew was that they were like technical. I didn't know how much electric guitar they used. That was that like, but so I didn't really know what genre they were fully, but I knew they definitely. I figured they'd do fun stuff with drums because you like your drums, and when bands are technical, it tends to involve the rhythm. So I knew like a little bit of that kind of stuff going in, but really that's about it. Like, and so I would say I was predisposed to being like, I'm guessing I'm gonna like this, but I didn't know like how much. So how did you approach it for this album review? Just like, was there anything in particular that you were like knew you were going to be paying attention to, or that you were excited about?
yeah, so this is the first one we've done that I'm like, going into it, admittedly, like this is already kind of an all-timer for me.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know how highly it ranked.
Spoiler alert, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I love this album. This album, like I've kept up with Delta Sleep, and to me, they haven't topped this one.
Yeah. Okay.
This is my favorite Delta Sleep album. It means a lot to me. It like I have very distinct memories of seeing these songs live. Like this album, I'm very biased. This album means a lot to me. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm at with it. Yeah. So going into it, just keep that in mind. I'm definitely biased. I love this album. Yeah. This was my first exposure to the band, and it's been my favorite piece of work they've done. So,
okay, cool. Well, yeah, let's jump in. I mean, I have quite a bit to say about every song, and I'm guessing you do too. It's a pretty deep album, but like just right away, I'll start with the Sultans of Ping. Just album openers are interesting. I've learned over the years, it's like the perfect album opener for me. The song made me think about this. Spoiler alert, it's a very, very, very good opener in my opinion. Like one of the best album openers you can have.
I agree.
Like it's hard to think of too many more songs that are track ones that are better. And I think being a good album opener, like being the best possible album opener, means a few things. Like I think it's good to be like relatively straightforward. Like don't pull every punch, right? Like don't do everything you're gonna do, but like show a taste and like go deep on like one thing maybe. Be like, here's one thing we're gonna do really good, get you excited, but we're not gonna show you like everything that's coming, right? I don't think it's good for it to be like the best song on the album, because that's kind of disappointing in some ways. Sorry, I have a nagging cough, so I'm gonna have to take some breaks to cough.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
But yeah, basically it's hard to strike that balance of like, if the track one's the best song, that's a bit of a disappointment, right? But like, you really want track one to like show you what it's all about, grab you, be really strong, but like sort of in a certain way where like it doesn't have to be like the deepest song on the album. It just has to do something really good to pull you in. And I feel like this song is a perfect example of it. Other great track ones that I know we both know, like I always think Empire. Why can't I think of the album name? What is August Burns Red third album named? Leveler. Empire is like an amazing album opener because it's not the best song on the album, but it's just such a good, like heavy, grab your attention. It has some really good parts, total banger, but it's like probably like the fourth best song on the album or whatever. But like it's the exact song that should have been the opener. That one always stands out in my head as like one of the best choices of a track one and best executed track one. And I feel like they tried to do that version of a track one more times with like The Wake or whatever and it's like they never did it as good. But yeah, this song, to actually talk about the song now instead of just saying how good of an opener it is. I love the like really good melody, and like that's something that isn't like, it's not that they don't do good with melody on the album, but it like isn't the focus on the album to have like a melody that is what hooks you into a song.
Yeah,
but it
I
helps
agree.
it be accessible and just be like, oh, I this melody gets stuck in my head. It's repeated a lot. That's okay. They don't repeat melodies a lot later in the album, so it's like they're doing this trick and they're showing they're really good at it. It's really catchy. They're repeating it a ton. They're kind of playing off of it. They start slow, build it up, get heavier,
Yeah,
get like
great.
not quite intense, but like they get it more technical and more driving and like kind of build some intensity to it.
Definitely a good slow build up
Yeah,
crescendo type thing going on. Yeah.
yeah, and then it's like that's the only version of that kind of song they do. Um, with one small caveat, the melody's repeated later in the album, but that's the only version of that. Like they don't have another song structured like that. They don't have any other song that's nearly just like as melody driven. It's just like this song is
Hmm.
like has one hook and we do that hook a lot. Like they don't do that anymore. So
Yep.
yeah, it's just really good. It immediately shows what they're about with their ability to like you can immediately like to me it was like yep, the drums are gonna be sweet on this album. Immediate like
Yep.
contrast to the last album we reviewed where like you could like they could have like almost not had a drummer and the music would have been equally as good, and that's
Right.
shows how
Yeah.
good some of the other things were, but also that's sad and they could have benefited from like throwing some extra technicality with the rhythm in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, just amazing opener for me. Not my favorite song on the album per se, but like just like pretty much when I played this first track first time, that was the song I remembered first. Like it was really hard to learn the rest because, and we'll get into that. It's like not super structured traditionally. It's not super melody driven. It's pretty technical. Blah blah blah. But like track one has a core melody. You remember it. It's fun. They riff off it. Highest level of accessibility in the whole album, which is like a perfect thing to do on track one too.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like I love the main melody in the song. It's great. I love the slow build up into a louder sound. I love the
Mm-hmm.
gang vocals that come in. Um, yeah, I think this song just sets the tone very well for the rest of the album. I think
Yeah.
I totally agree. I think this is like a perfect intro song. It's not too short. It's not too long.
Yep.
It's just like it's a full song, but it feels like an intro. Like
Yeah, it does have a feel of it because it's in terms of the melody and structure. It's not like simple musically per se, but it like is simple in that it's like one melody and therefore it's not like immediately going to like the level of complexity they get on other songs. It
yep.
does feel like an intro in that way. I hadn't even thought of it as like an intro, but it does feel that way.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'll just
totally.
immediately reveal it's one of my highlights. It was difficult to pick highlights on this album. We'll get to that, but I felt like I had to call this one out and give it a shout out as just like one of the best album openers
It's
that
great.
I'm
It
like albums I've
almost
listened to in a
made one of
while.
my highlights, but I had a really hard time
Yeah, I was
deciding,
very
and I
curious.
tried to narrow it down.
I figured any song, yeah, any song could basically be in the running for a highlight on this album. So
Yeah, love it. Okay, well, so the next song,
After Dark, yeah.
After Dark. Yeah, I'll start on this one. So I love the kind of off kilter feel of the main rhythm and guitar lead that it comes in
Mm-hmm.
with in the song. You know, they really just like start off with, okay, this is Delta Sleep. Like they're mathy. We're gonna have melodic music, but it's gonna be a little different. um, and yeah, I mean, I love the way this song starts, and then I love the back half of the song, especially just how it like just goes bigger and bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
when the like yelling vocals come in, it just it's works perfect for me. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
This
I
is
mean,
like the
and that
initial.
that will be a common theme
Mm-hmm.
along this album,
Yep.
like the crescendos, the soft to loud transitions that they do in this album, the contrast of that, the balance that they strike between the peaceful somber parts and the emotional intense screamy parts, like That's a huge thing for me in this album, and
Yeah,
this song has some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, the songs are very dynamic. Track 1 gave you a taste of it. This one gives you an even fuller view of what they're going to do. Arguably lays a bit of a blueprint for like what a lot of the songs end up doing.
I agree.
It does also really start to set the thematic tone. Like Sultans of Ping does play a role to the theme in the story, but like it would be like the song playing behind the introduction to the movie stuff that's like not actually the content of the movie, you know, like it's sort of just this stuff playing, but then this is like the actual start of the plot.
Yep.
So this is actually
I totally agree.
Setting the tone and getting you into that world that is, you know, immediately, you know, I would say these first couple songs, or the first like the track 2, 3, 4, kind of, I think, put you in the like somber place of like feeling the, I don't know the perfect word for it, sort of like undercurrent of desperation of this world, of like how they're not like portraying the like protagonist as just sad, you know, or miserable, but like they're showing how it feels off and they know it intellectually, but also it's like what they're used to.
Yeah, there's a longing.
Yeah.
There's, you know, there's a very clear
but sort
longing.
of like an undercurrent of a longing, you know, it's not just like only a longing.
Yep.
It's cool. I feel like it's like it's sort of exposition, you know, a little like of just like, oh, let's like in a way that is pretty uncommon for music to just be like describing a world, and you know this song starts that, and you know the next couple continue, and that's just, it's cool, it's unique, and they do a really good job of building that world. For me, After Dark is good, you know, and I'm sorry I didn't mean to like cut you off. I have more to say. I was just gonna throw like just make the point before I forget, like that I like it. It's and it could like. Every song's really good. There's no miss on the album. I do think in my effort to pick highlights, like I would say After Dark, and like we'll talk about this as we get into the next few songs. Like it's, and I think it like stood out to me earlier on. I think particularly because it's like track 2, so it's easier to remember the earlier songs in the album when you're listening through 10 songs that you haven't heard before. And like it does have a really good and satisfying ending after kind of the initial like slower. Not like super slow, but a little bit slow beginning, you know, first half, and then like the back half of the song where it builds the volume level, and like that gives you a taste of that desperation. It's a strong song, but like I don't think it ends up sticking with me as like a highlight, I would say, either.
So. I totally agree. Yeah, I think it's a great song on its own, but once you've listened through the album a few times, it doesn't necessarily stand out amongst the rest.
It is in a way, though. Like I actually think there's a little hiccup to me at the end, a little bit, that we'll get to, but like overall the like structure of the album and like the pacing is incredible for like this type of concept album. Like they pull it off really, really well overall. Sultans of Ping, I feel like such a good intro, such a good setup, but not actually getting into the meat yet. And then this is like the perfect start to the story. Again, it's like, would you want the first song telling the story to be the one that is your favorite? Not really, you know. Like
right.
It's sort of like Sultans of Ping is like a highlight, great intro, but it doesn't show all the cards they're gonna do, and it isn't, and in that way, it doesn't end up being like the most memorable or best song on the album, but it is a highlight. And then I feel like After Dark is really good and sets the thematic tones, and it's still like a really enjoyable version of the music they will do throughout the whole album. But I also feel like it's sort of like it is just kicking things off, and it doesn't end up being the best one, and that's good. Like, you know, like not every song would be the best song, and it would be if like the first song telling the story was the best in sort of a storytelling narrative way. That would be like a disappointment in a lot of ways. So
right, when you're trying to set up a, you know, rising action climax type of situation, you can't have every song reach the same level of emotion as each other. Yeah, you just can't, right? Otherwise, it won't be as effective later on. So, totally agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's go to, I think it's called Ghost. I think the instrumental songs, I have a hard time remembering the names. So, they do 2 instrumental songs on the album. So track 3 is Ghost. And they're both really nice and kind of groovy in different ways. I really love the beat and groove on Ghost. I also just really highly approve of doing like standalone tracks that are like this on an album. Like I think we've had discussions about a couple songs that blend, that are like short and then like blend into the next song, like Wish into Glimpse, and like that I like don't like, because then if you really like the intro part, you have a really hard time putting it on playlists to like listen to both halves. You pretty much have to like be listening to the whole album to get the full experience. That's frustrating as a listener for me. This version of a song of like instrumental, like sort of skippable, right? But like if you're gonna listen to the whole album, you're not really probably gonna skip it because it does like fit. You know, it comes off that desperation. And it's very like melancholy, but groovy melancholy, which they do really well. That's like a groovy melancholy is like a theme of this first half of the album for sure. So it fits that vibe. And it's the like, you know, the like, if I had a complaint about this version of sort of a filler song, it's like that I like the groove so much. I'm like, you could have made a whole song out of it. Like, it could have been like a 5-minute, you know, full song, but it didn't need to be. But it's certainly like, you know, this type of song is not going to be a highlight either, but it like adds texture to the story and the world.
Yeah. I think Ghost is a nice, like, peaceful break after the first two songs, which have a fair amount of intensity. I think it serves its purpose well as a transition. I think, you know, for a while, this song and, spoiler alert, Glass, which is the other instrumental piece on this album later on, for a while, I just skipped those songs a lot.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Like, not, you know, in the last couple of weeks, but I'm talking years ago when I first listened to the album. Because I was just like, give me the good stuff, you know? But I think it took me some time to view them more as dividing the album up into kind of movements. And I really think that's what their purpose is. That's at least what I'm getting. Like, I think the first two albums are kind of setting the stage, or the first two songs rather.
Yeah.
I think the next several songs up till Glass are the next movement of, you know, we'll talk through it as we go through those songs, but I think the next few songs are intensity building. I can't stand this this polluted, horrible city under this toxic regime. You know, I can't stand this anymore. I'm getting out. I'm escaping. I'm out, you know, and then Glass happens, and then Floater, After Image, the last two songs are kind of reflecting on what's happened.
Okay.
So I kind
That's
of
helpful perspective.
I kind of view the two instrumentals as dividing the album up.
Okay, that's interesting.
And now that I've kind of gained that perspective, and who knows if that's actually what they intended, that's what I kind of view it as now, and I think they serve that purpose quite well. As you said, I would never call out Ghost as a highlight, but I think it does fit the album and what it's trying to convey.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's interesting. We'll talk a little bit more probably just as we like go through the whole arc, what the story is trying to tell. I feel like the biggest thing I like would say makes me not 100% agree with everything you said is like I feel like After Dark is starting the story of the protagonist in a way. Like I feel like After Dark into Single File into Dot Work is like into the next few, like is a pretty clear arc. I feel like though the Floater After Image piece is something I struggle to put together into the story. So in that way, that helps me understand it if that was truly like their explanation. But I almost feel like Ghost should have been like track 2 after Sultans of Ping if that was the explanation.
I can see what you're saying. Yeah. And to be clear, this is totally my interpretation. This is not anything that's coming from Delta Sleep. So.
And everything I'll be saying is my interpretation. I did like a little bit of reading just to make sure I wasn't like super far off on my understanding on anything, but I didn't like go down any rabbit holes of like all the like reading a ton about what people thought. I tried to kind of figure it out for myself and then just make sure like it. Oh yeah, I like read the lyrics and made sure I didn't like totally misunderstand something. But yeah, I could see definitely Glass as separating that piece, and then yeah, Ghost also does kick off. I mean, Single File. So like we'll get into Single File now. That one definitely is like I would say continuing the themes of After Dark, but and again doing like sort of this storytelling of like what life is like in this city that the protagonist lives in, and it's very grim, it's very repetitive, not a lot of choice, very confined. The city's very polluted. Single file, yeah, it's sort of like this. It feels like it really follows in the footsteps of After Dark, but it's like in a lot of ways like a better version. It's like more, the rhythm is more complex, really cool drum stuff going on in the verses, and sort of the first half that's like bouncy, a little slower, groovier, and then kind of that there's like a breaking point midway where it kind of transitions into more raw, more determination, talking about wanting to leave the city, reflecting on that.
Yeah.
Really good one. Really, really good song. I like it a little more than After Dark. And I feel like now we're really seeing, this is like having listened to the album enough to know all the songs well. It's like, okay, we're getting to the point where they're really showing us what they do, what they're all about as a band. It's really, really cool stuff. High level of complexity musically, not predictable. Not particularly melody driven, but there are catchy parts of the songs. And yeah, really crafting, like from this point, like continuing with the After Dark themes, like they're really starting to build this world. And I feel like that's something that really stood out to me, is like when you go into a concept album, you don't always know what that's going to mean and how it's going to be executed, but they, for me, really have really good continuity in the way they're like kind of telling the story and creating this arc for this character in this world, and then like the way they build the world too and describe it is, you really feel like you understand it and ultimately feel invested in the story, which is cool. So that's something they do really well.
Yeah, something being a person who's listened to a bunch of concept albums and have strong opinions on some that really miss the mark, and all ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
This one very much like, without having a super firm narrative necessarily, like a band like the Deer Hunter, like,
yeah, it's less
there's certain Deer Hunter albums like are really telling you like a step-by-step story.
Yeah.
But this album, like, without doing that, it's still like you feel very immersed in the world that they're describing.
Yeah, immersive, that's a good word.
And yeah, you can follow what's going on and the emotions of the main character without them telling like a super strict narrative, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
I think, I've listened to plenty of concept albums that call themselves a concept album, and then you listen to it and you're like, cool, I like the music, but I don't have any idea what story you're trying to tell. Like, I have no clue. Like,
Yeah.
it's so ethereal. It's too out, I can't,
Yeah.
I don't get it. But I think this one at least comes through enough to give you a vibe, and definitely, like, I think the songs carry the emotions that the
Yeah.
main character is feeling. So like, you go through the different dynamics that the main character is experiencing. But yeah, for this song specifically, I love how like pleasant and uplifting it starts out, juxtaposed by the like dreary lyrics of
that's true. It
a
definitely has a lot of
life
groove. Yeah.
in a polluted, corrupt city. Yeah, but it's like really happy, pleasant guitars playing and stuff.
Yeah.
But that that's like a signature Delta Sleep thing. And then I love how the first chorus is pretty understated. The second chorus comes in with extra backing vocals, a bigger sound, bigger drums, and then it just leads into one of my favorite moments on the album. I have two favorite moments. This is one of them.
Okay.
Just one of my favorite quiet to loud moments on this album, of just like going from almost talking vocals to like yelling. And I just think they do that extremely effectively. um, and uh, I can attest to live it just takes it to 11. Like,
Is it hard to come to terms with the
um,
consequences at stake to stay there? Is that the part?
yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah, exactly,
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I was wondering what year. I know one of the moments that you like because it's a song that you showed me before, and I remembered the part that you liked a
yeah,
lot. So that was one of the things I like knew in advance. But I was trying to think of like what I thought some of your other favorite moments would be. I figured single file would be up there. But yeah, that's interesting. That's like one of my
yeah,
absolute top
yeah.
moments.
I mean,
Okay.
single
Back half of
file
single
as a
file is really
whole,
good for sure.
I'm not necessarily saying this is one of my two favorite songs, but it's one of my
Understood.
two
Yep.
favorite. It's one of my two favorite moments for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, the flow of the song is just very dynamic and satisfying. Um, after that quiet, loud moment, it just goes into like a jam session
Yeah.
basically,
The
and then
back
a
half of
like
the song is
nice,
really good. Yeah.
calm outro. Like, I really appreciate how Delta Sleep just doesn't really follow any formula. They just kind of have part, then part, then part, then part. Like,
Yep.
it's not necessarily following any formula. They definitely keep you guessing throughout the album.
Yeah.
Um,
But they definitely I love the way their songs progress.
yeah,
Super enjoyable and
yeah,
dynamic and unpredictable with asterisk that I'll get
cool.
to.
Yeah, I went ahead and highlighted some of my what stands out. I think I've pretty much talked through most of them at this point.
Yeah, I agree. We've talked through.
Um, oh well, one thing I haven't like specifically called out is I think they have very emotive vocals and lyrics. Like
Mm.
I think when he's fucking yelling and talking about how bad he wants to get out of this polluted
Yeah.
city and all that stuff like throughout the album, I feel that. Like I really like I think it's
Mhm.
conveyed extremely well. Um
Yep.
and yeah, and I just
Yeah.
said so mathy, like, you know,
Yep. Very
there's just a lot
technical.
of good technicality in
Yep.
the drums, bass, rhythm section, guitar in general. It's just very like they really provide a lot to sink your teeth into.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. It's interesting you called out the vocals. I was curious what you'd say about them because I feel like they're not like I don't I feel like to me the vocals are like not a strength or a weakness of the album. They like do the job well, but like I enjoy his vocals. There's never a point where I'm like I wish the vocals was different or whatever. Like you had some moments that like you didn't love with the vocals to Backseat Lovers. Like I didn't have any moments like that where I was ever like, oh, I'm not enjoying it. But also I like they didn't stand out as like impressive per se. Where I'm like, wow, he's doing something with his voice that's really incredible. But he does really convey emotion. And in a way, it's sort of like a version of a band that has a little bit of like an everyday vocalist to me, where I'm like they're doing what the music needs and executing it well. But like there's certainly vocalists I think are like more talented purely at vocals.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I think when he's like singing normally, he's like a very average vocalist. For me, it like hits that next level when he gets loud. Honestly, when he
Yeah,
gets
and he does. He's
like
willing to
into
like
that
do the sing
yelly,
scream, which I love because not that many vocalists do that kind of thing, really.
right?
Even when
Yeah,
music could handle it.
when he gets into that, I think that separates him from a lot of vocalists.
Yeah,
But other than that, I totally agree with you. Like the normal vocals on the album are like not necessarily stand out, but I
yeah,
think yeah, when it gets intense, it really gets
mm-hmm.
intense.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and we talked about the dynamic song structures,
yeah.
and
Song structures
I've
are
been
really
talking
cool.
about some explosive moments,
Mm-hmm.
crescendos. Yeah, lots
Yeah,
of lots of dynamic movements throughout the album, soft to loud.
yeah,
They're good at that. Yeah.
yeah. And we've talked about this already because I mean, it plays into the technicality and the drumming and stuff. But I'll go into it. I'll just start the next song too. I think I've started a few in a row, which is my bad, but whatever. I want to talk about the
No,
next
it's
one.
fine.
So dot work, dot works next, and
Yeah.
is like maybe the single best example of this, or nah, maybe not the best, but it's one of the top few of just like how good they are at like the like themes of the album shouldn't lend themselves to being groovy, but they do, they do.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
so many parts that are just like, yeah, I'm bobbing my head to this. This is just good
Yep.
shit. Love it. Makes you feel good even if the lyrics make you feel sad, kind of thing, like you were saying,
Right.
which is a fun dynamic. You don't need to feel full sad too often. So yeah, I dot work is another kind of continuing the emotive or like emotional spectrum of After Dark and Single File, I would say, and what they're actually describing about city life. It's still in the like city life portion of the story, so it's like more about the day to day and kind of the grim picture of that. But like I would say the emphasis on escape and perhaps depending on like I don't know the lyrics like incredibly well off the top of my head, so if I'm just misrepresenting something that is obvious, let me know. But I think this is certainly the song that's getting the closest to like I'm actually executing a plan of leaving as opposed to just thinking about it, which will then come to like more fruition in the next song, I think.
Yep.
But this one
Yeah,
is
it's
like
kind of a process over like the next few
yeah,
songs.
yeah. This one's sort of the more getting closer to the true departure versus just living in it that like the
Yep.
After Dark and Single File are telling. And I think from like the musical nature, you can tell it's like a little less. It's the intensity is scaled down perhaps a little bit in like the way that it's just desperate. Like there's less like just pure desperation or sadness and anger, but it still has undertones of that. Um, but yeah, I just love like it's super groovy first half, great beat, catchy back half, really unpredictable again, really cool sequences, several that I love. And I think dot work for me is one that ultimately it like took a while. It actually like was one that I thought I liked less for a while, um, but
Mhm.
it ultimately like grew on me the most of like the After Dark single file dot work sequence, which I see. It's interesting that you called out your acts of the album that I do agree with in part, but for me I saw it as like After Dark single file dot work, Ghost playing a musical role in terms of like emotion building, like sort of giving a mood, but like the actual lyrical content, like I feel like After Dark single file dot work is sort of like one arc,
Well, it's
just like city
interesting.
life. Like that's the city. This is like
Yeah.
I'm living in the
Well,
city, what it's like, and
and
all the thought
the
life of that. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
yeah, the next song, Dream Thing, you could debate that that's potentially another break, like another
Kind of.
movement
Yeah. Yeah.
separation.
True.
Yeah.
It just has lyrics, but yeah, you could.
Right.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
very musically different though from the other tracks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love dot work. I think it has really some really cool lyrical parts. Like I don't know the like line where the break in dot work that I love lyrically. I mean a lot of it's fun, but like the part where he's like you something along the lines of like because I'm not gonna look up lyrics on the fly here to try to quote it, but like exactly. But it's like when like the realization that your life's not what you wrote it would be in childhood exposés. It's like, damn, I bet a
Hmm.
lot of people in their adult life can probably feel that one. Not being
Yeah.
in this fictitious city, just being in normal life, right?
Yeah. And I think that's something this album does really well too. Like, despite being a concept album, it's very relatable to real life. And like, I mean,
Yeah.
the concept that they're discussing is like, pertinent in today's
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
Talking about a polluted city led by corrupt people. It's like, America? Okay, cool. Yeah.
Which is funny because they're not even American; they're like British, right?
Yeah,
Like
they're
from the
from the
UK.
UK.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely like, despite it being in a pretend world, it feels very relatable. Totally agree with that. And yeah, this was actually the first song I heard off the album, and
Interesting first song. Wow.
I was immediately drawn in.
How
Yeah,
did you hear this one first?
I'm pretty sure Nick shared it with me.
Okay, that's so
I
funny that
think
that would
it's
never have
been
been where
so
I guess
long,
you
I can't
start.
remember
Yeah.
for sure, but I'm pretty sure Nick just shared this song with me, and he probably just heard it like randomly on Spotify or something. I don't know, but um, yeah, like, this song, like, just like Single File, I feel like it has an extremely pleasant, satisfying opening.
Mm-hmm. The
Just very
beat's so
nice
nice in the first
sounding
half of the
guitar
song. Yeah.
and everything. I love the drums in particular on this song.
Yeah, this seems like
Um,
maybe peak good drum beats and to
yeah,
me. I
it's
like
it's so good. I mean, and I'll call out right now, I guess, the drums in general
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this album, like, really just carry a lot of momentum and weight. Um, and like, I just feel like, yeah, I just highlighted all my strengths because I don't want to deal with doing it one by one.
yeah. We probably already talked about like half of them, anyways. Yeah,
Yeah, right. Probably already talked about most of them. But yeah, I think the drums carry a lot of weight. They keep that like flowing momentum, and they really like whatever emotion the album is trying to convey. I feel like the drums heighten it. I feel like they do a good
yeah,
job of that, especially in the like explosive, intense emotional moments. I feel like the drums just level it up even more. Where they
yeah,
could just kind of like fade into the background and just be like doing their job. Instead, they're like, no, I'm gonna the drums really like make it better. I don't
hmm
know. Um,
I knew. I mean, so true, and I knew you were gonna say that because I know you. I made this new predictions section that I'm sure you noticed,
yeah,
because I just thought it'd be fun. It was like you don't have to put anything in there if you didn't want to, but I was like,
I did. I
after the
did.
Backseat Lovers, I thought it was hilarious. After Backseat Lovers, that was the album where it was like, is there a drummer? Oh, there is drums. I somehow didn't notice them the first 10 listens. I was like, yeah, the drums are gonna get a lot of love on this album, and they deserve it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. That's a great example. Like going from Backseat Lovers to this. I loved the Backseat Lovers album, but like, yeah, you take the drums from that album compared to this one, it's like, oh, okay, this is the difference of like a drummer actually like making a significant impact
yes, every
on
song
the music.
every song for most of the song, the drums are doing something noticeably cool or enjoyable or that heighten the music, like you said, which is
Yeah,
like to like be honest, that's really hard. Like they gotta be one of the best drummers. I don't know. Like it can't be easy to write drums like that because like less than 5% of bands I've ever listened to write drums, even in that realm, let alone as good as that. Like even like most bands I listen to, I'd say there's like hopefully a couple moments in a song that where I think the drums are cool. You
yeah.
know, like on
No,
average.
there's
So
plenty of bands where it just like kind of fades into the mix. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, the drums are definitely a real standout
and
portion
and
of the
and
music, and
to be
that's
clear,
super
there's
cool.
plenty of bands I like where
Right.
the drums fade into the mix,
Yeah.
and it's just not a highlight of that band. You know?
Yeah. And I think that's like part of various bands style. Like depending on the band, depending on the song, depending on the album, etc. Not every portion of every song has to be exceptional in every moment, right? Like it's fine for things to not be stand out for extended portions of songs or for the entire album because they're doing something different, etc. But like when the drums are this good, it like clearly adds a ton to every song. Like if you took the Backseat Lovers drummer and put them on dot work, it just wouldn't be nearly as good.
It
I
wouldn't be
don't
the
even
same
know
song.
what
Yeah.
it would be. I don't like dot work
Yeah.
is so sweet because so many of the
Yeah.
rhythms and the drum parts are like immediately on first listen, like just catching your attention, making you bob your head, and you'd be like, "Whoa, we're doing a little something different here. Okay, cool. I'm noticing it." And like also how it's mixed too. Like they're very forward in the mix, which I appreciate too,
Yep.
because it's like drums. I feel like can sometimes get mixed. Some mixing of drums is frustrating. Where I'm like, the way it's mixed makes me not even be able to tell if it's real drums or just like a beat,
Yeah.
you know, and that's an
Totally.
electronic
Yeah.
beat, and that's like I don't want to have to ask that question.
Right.
But maybe that
Right.
means it wasn't a real drummer, which is depressing too. So like there's some Bill Murray songs. Like I know Bill Murray has a good drummer now, but some of his older songs, I'm pretty sure like half this album like didn't have a real drummer on
Yeah. Just
it.
like garage band drums
Because
or
if you
whatever.
did have a real drummer, why would you have mixed the drums to sound this bad?
Yeah. 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 So yeah, that's a good little summary of the
Yeah.
drummer here. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah,
Or
overall,
deserve a
like
deep dive.
I love this song. Yeah, I think it has an interesting progression. Once again, I think it
Yeah.
keeps you guessing. I love the
Yep.
journey of like the quiet vocal part into the jammy instrumental part, and then it just progressively gets louder, and then the
Yep.
last like minute and a half is just like a totally different part, and it's just a
Yeah.
fun, very satisfying twist. I love the I love the line, "There must be more to life than
It
concrete
just flows
walls."
so good. So
yeah,
yeah,
it's
gets
just
stuck in my
very
head. That
yeah.
line is the single line in the album that's just actually there's a couple others that are up there, and they speak our languages up there, but it
Yeah.
must be
Oh
more.
yeah, that's a good one. That's a great
It must
one.
be
Yeah.
more life than concrete walls. It's in my head all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just an iconic line to me. Yeah. So love this song.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll use this song to just call out. We've already talked around this one a good bit, but just to highlight it as a clear strength that I perceive in the album. And this is maybe my number one example of it. It's just unpredictable in the best way possible. Like such an adventure of a song, but still catchy and satisfying. It's not like unpredictable and you're just like at the end you're like that was crazy. There were parts that felt aimless. There were parts that felt unnecessary, etc. It's like everything about it was really satisfying and well done, and it felt like a cohesive song.
Yeah.
And that's hard to pull off. It's hard to pull off as many times as they do in the same album. I will
I
say though,
agree.
it ties into what I would describe the weaknesses for me, and like the rating for me, I was hard on this one, and we'll get into it. But I would say like a minor weakness. None of the weaknesses are big weaknesses. But they're sort of like nitpicky weaknesses. But like one of the things for me was like the song structures are all really unique, as we've been talking about. Like they're unpredictable in a way. They're not just like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. There is typically at least a repeated portion that serves as a bit of a chorus, which is good. I'm not saying that's a fault. But the thing that like dot work in my opinion is like sort of you have After Dark, which is After Dark 1.0. Then you have Single File, which is After Dark 2.0, and then you have Dot Work, which is After Dark 3.0. It's like,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah,
they're
I can
all
see that.
unique, they're all like
Yeah.
unpredictable, but those they do a little bit of like a three variations of a similar thing three times, and
They
they do
do
it
have.
really well
Yeah.
every time. Um, but they do it a few more times after this too, which is why I'm calling. It's not like they only do it those three times, but I do think that like Dot Work, and to be clear, they're very different songs. They stand out in different ways. So it's not like I think it's like the same song three times, but it is like you can do a unique thing, but then do it enough times to where it's like not quite as unique. And I do think they like kind of border on that. And
Yeah. No,
it's just something that's kind of like like Dot Work ultimately is the one that stands out to the most to me of the like of that arc there.
that's totally a fair criticism.
Sort of like the best
and,
version of that kind of song they
and
made.
I'll kind of get to not exactly a similar well, an adjacent criticism. I'll get to it later.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that's a totally fair criticism. Um, I can see the comparison between those three songs.
Especially because
You
they're
know,
all like the city life songs, and I don't feel like they do
right.
anything quite. And like I feel like I'm exaggerating using this terminology, but it's to prove a point. Like they don't do anything that's like fitting into that version of the cookie cutter. Like they do those three, and those are all about city life. And maybe there's almost a point to that. That's the city life is, right? It's like the same thing over and over. But then like
Yeah.
pretty much most of the other songs are more different. They do a little bit of that again still, but like those are the three that like to me, if there was a formula, which there isn't because it's like 11 songs, and it's only applying to three of them. But there is a little bit of a formula to like those three songs. And
Yeah.
they happen
No,
to be
and
the
I can
three
totally
that are
see
about
that.
the same theme, and like the same
You
version
know,
of the story. So it does
yeah.
stand out to me.
No, I totally get that. And as much as like I'm the first one to, you know, knock on the like an album that has verse, chorus, bridge,
Yeah,
chorus, every song, you know, yeah, I mean, change the formula, but do the same thing a bunch of times. It doesn't matter if the formula is different; it's still the same thing a bunch of times. So I totally get that, and I can definitely see that like all three of these songs do follow a similar formula. It's actually interesting that you've called that out because I didn't really like. I don't know. I didn't fully grasp that before because I feel like they're different enough. But
I
now
think
that you
they
say
are.
that,
Yeah.
now that you say that, I totally agree.
That's why I would say that's like a nitpick. Like that's like
Yeah.
a coming up with a thing that I would say, and it kind of ties into what I would say is my true biggest critique of the album that we'll get to when we've talked about a little bit more of it. You'll maybe be hearing some foreshadowing of it, but like that's why that like it kind of stood out to me because I felt like I found myself like looking for something specific that never really came, and it made me notice like, oh, they did that thing like three times. Why couldn't they do this other thing? So, but yeah, so it's I love all those three songs, and Dot Work's probably my favorite one of them. But like they're all really good, and they're definitely not cookie cutter in the traditional way that like many songs by many bands are, that are just verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, with like a melody and a slow verse and a bridge that does something different, and then the chorus 3 times. Like they're not at all like repeating enough to that degree, but there is a degree of like, oh yeah, they kind of did like 3 versions of a similar thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally get that. Okay, I need a really quick restroom break.
Do it.
Give me 1 minute.
Yep. Sounds good. If anyone tuning in has listened to Delta Sleep, let us know what you think. We clearly enjoy it. I'm gonna have to listen to more. Okay, I was just reminding myself what my predictions were while you were gone. So I have to ask, I'm at least half right on this because we were just talking about the song. But I have to ask, how would you rank dot work, single file, and after dark?
Just those 3.
Those 3 relative to each other. What's first place, second place, third place? Pretty sure
Okay.
After Dark is third place because we've already kind of alluded to that. But
yeah, I would go single file number 1.
Okay, single file 2. So I like half right. One of my predictions was like, I'm pretty sure, and maybe I'm fully right, but you just like single file like more than me, which I do like single file, but it was a bit below dot work for me. I just like predicted that you would enjoy dot work because I like felt like dot work was maybe top 2 on the album in terms of like grooviness, and single file is probably the. I would probably debate whether dot work or single file is doing more unique stuff and cool stuff with the drums in particular and the rhythm. They're both really top echelon in terms of like using the rhythm to do lots of cool stuff and drive the song. But I feel like dot work for me was like slightly higher and also slightly more like dynamic in terms of structure.
I agree, and honestly, the difference maker, because to me they're like neck and neck.
Yeah,
I love dot work. I think dot work probably has like more consistent enjoyment throughout. But single file for me, the climax of that quiet loud part where he gets yelly, that just escalates it. That just rockets it to the top for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sometimes that's one of the moments on the album that like stands out to me the most. So
makes sense.
But I think like dot work is more consistently enjoyable. Throughout the whole song. So it's very close.
Yeah.
But I just love single file.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious where single file would fall for you. I felt like that was like a song that I was like, I could see that being high up there for you, but I didn't like fully commit to predicting where it would be. But I was like, after I fully landed on Dot Work being like a top song for me, top view, I was like, I bet that it's up there for Paul too. So that was one of my predictions.
Yeah, it's great. And I mean, here I'll.
Oh, you do have Dot Work in your highlights too.
Yeah, I have
single
single file and Dot Work on
Okay,
there.
cool.
So,
So I'm not too far off. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Fun stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how about you kick off the sort of. There's a big transition. The next song is, like you said, kind of one of those transitional songs. So
Yeah,
take
so
us away.
so Dream Thing is a big deviation from the last couple tracks. It's very slow, very like methodical. Um, it's definitely, it could be, as I pointed out, the like potentially the different movements of the album, and that's totally me. That's not something I'm reading or whatever. I'm just speculating. This could be another movement. This could be dividing up the album here.
Yep.
Because it's definitely distinct from every other song on the album. Like the instrumental tracks, but it has vocals. I will say, like, this one for me, I don't dislike it, but I think it carries on a little long. I think it like could have been a short track. I think
and it is pretty short, but yeah, I don't disagree.
It's like
like 3 minutes.
it is already pretty short, but I feel like it could have even been shorter. I don't know. I find myself getting bored in this track, and that maybe that's just because of the pace of the rest of the album. But yeah, to me, it's almost like a momentum breaker a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
Ghost is 2 minutes. Glass is actually 3 minute 3:11, so it's actually shorter than Glass, which is kind of crazy.
Wait, yeah, and how long is Dream Thing?
3:05. So basically the same length as Glass, but like 6 seconds shorter. But it's kind of crazy to me that Glass is that long. I don't think I realized that. Yeah, it feels like Dream Thing could have been like
not to say that, and maybe this was completely their intention, was to break the momentum and transition to a new movement.
Because they do that, yeah.
But despite that, it's still just like not that thrilling for me. This is not a track like. I'll be honest, like, after having listened to this album probably 50 plus times, I often skip this song.
Interesting. Wow.
So
because I agree with you that like it's not a highlight, but I do enjoy it. I enjoy it more than you, I think. So I didn't fully
fair enough. Yeah, and again, not to say that I don't enjoy it at all. I definitely like it. I like what it does for the album as a whole, but it's not as gripping for me as the rest, basically.
Yeah, and I would agree with that too. But like I feel like if you would say in the middle portion of the album that the change ups that are a little bit of breath of fresh air are like Ghost kinda, but honestly sort of not really, because it happens so soon and it's sort of contributing to the vibe of like that overcast grim picture of the city a little bit. But it's sort of, since it's a slow instrumental, it still does kind of break it up a little bit. And then you have Dream Thing, then you have, that's definitely a change up moment. And then you have Glass, like, I don't know, I like it quite a bit, and I feel like it's, the change in mood is like, I don't know, very refreshing at that moment after the like whole progression of After Dark, Ghost, Single File, Dot Work. You're just really in the thick of this, like I was saying, like overcast moodiness, and then Dream Thing feels very like, it's like a positive spin to the like, I'm getting out of here, instead of a darker, like, I gotta get out of here. It's like, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, I'm getting out of here. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
trying to put it into words in real time. I didn't fully think this through beforehand.
That was a perfect description. Yeah. And, I might be overstating how much I don't like it. Like, I still like it. I want to be clear. I still like it. And I think I think it does serve its purpose well. I guess I just ultimately wish it was a little shorter.
I think I agree with you. I think it could.
It's a 3-minute song.
Yeah,
I think it could be a 2-minute song.
Yeah. No, I think I agree with you on that. Yep. I don't disagree. But I don't think it's like so much longer than it needs to be that it like hurts it per se. It's sort of like, okay,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. I don't look at this as like a black spot on the album.
yeah.
You know, like
Mm-hmm.
to be clear, it's just not that
And I do
enthralling.
just like really like it feels it's very like laid back kind of, but then the two moments there's like the chorus of the song, you know, which is like short the first time and a little longer the second time of like the, but I know I might not reach the end, but I'm gonna try or
Yep.
whatever. Like that part where like the drums build and it's like a real, it's catchy for a glimpse there instead of just sort of like slow paced. That
Yep.
is like a really satisfying melody to me, and with the
Yeah, it is
drums in
nice.
a way, and like I said, it's like a Dream Thing or Dot Work kind of starts it. Like I feel like After Dark, Ghost, Single File are just fully like moody in the back halves of the song that are like kind of the building intensity parts. Dot Work starts a little bit of a transition where it's like a little less just downcast, I feel. So it's like just a peak of a transition, and then Dream Thing's like fully doing this transition. Um, and to where like that portion of the song where it's like the drum beat speeds it up, but it like still feels has a positive mood to it instead of the like downcast mood. And so
Yeah.
yeah, that's pleasant for
No,
me.
yeah.
That's what makes it stand out as pleasant to me.
Definitely, yeah, definitely that part you called out. Like, it definitely does a good job of like ushering in the more positive part of the album.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I totally agree.
Okay. Then we get to
So,
Sans Soleil, however you
Sans
say it.
Soleil.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I've always said it. I don't
Sans
know, Sans
Soleil.
Soleil. Yeah.
I know you like
uh,
this one, so
uh,
get into
I,
it.
this song has brought me to tears numerous times. Yeah, I think this song is gripping from the start. I think the opening, like, build-up riff
That opening riff is really good.
is
Yeah.
very
I
satisfying.
do love it.
And then this song also has like my other two of two favorite quiet loud moment. I think you can just really feel the longing, the exhaustion, the triumph of making it out of the city in this
Mm-hmm.
album, or in this song rather. Um, I think this song just does a great job of like ushering in the second half of like, we've made it out, and this was the struggle, this was the, like, I don't know, you just feel it like, um yeah. I, this song is probably my favorite song I've seen live from them too, like, um just that part. I'm trying to pull up the lyrics real quick.
Yeah, dare I go right off the precipice, following the
Yes,
footsteps of no
yep,
one else.
exactly, yeah, that part.
Found
Yeah,
myself between routine and heartache, knowing it was not a
yep,
life to lead. Yeah, I knew you
like
liked that part. It was
the
not very fair to put that as a prediction. Um,
yeah, the first time I saw them live with Nick, like, it gets all quiet and he just sings that part into the mic, and then he basically repeats at least part of it, but screaming it basically,
mm,
and the entire crowd is just singing it, and the entire crowd just rushed to the front of the stage and is all pressed up against each other, and it was just like an incredible moment. That's one of my favorite concert moments of all time. It was just
mm,
like, just talk about like hair standing up on the back of your
mm,
neck. Like,
yeah,
it was just, yeah. And I feel like this song is just a perfect example of Delta Sleep's like one of their biggest strengths of just like creating moments like that. Um, yeah, to me that's
yeah,
just an incredible moment in a song. But the whole song is great, but especially
yeah. The
that
whole
moment.
song is really good. Yeah, it's a good one. I really like that song. I agree. I love the opening build up. It they just really create an undercurrent of emotion, and it's in this song more of a like a beautiful tugging at your heartstrings emotion compared to the earlier songs, in a way that's really satisfying and feels like you've been building to it, you know. So, and I knew you liked it. The like I knew you'd played the song for me before, and I didn't remember it that well, but I did remember the like part that's the climax, so I like knew that part.
Yeah,
It was like one of your
it's hard to
highlights.
forget.
It's super enjoyable. Yeah,
Yeah.
really good song. Um, didn't quite make my top highlights, but I do really like it, and it could be. I mean, every song could be a highlight, but it didn't quite make my like top few.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the next one, I'll start on the next one.
Yeah, go ahead.
El Pastor. I feel like that El Pastor, if there had to be a song that could conceivably be a single, in a way, it would be this song probably.
Oh,
It's just like
absolutely
the most fun. Like, you just really feel this positivity and exploration and newness. Like, the sense of like novelty is conveyed incredibly well. They just like do such a good job conveying those emotions. Is that what did I already call that out? Let's see. Oh yeah, the emotional arc of the album script. Oh no, okay, that's about the ending. Well, yeah. Oops.
Yeah. This song feels joyful. It feels
it just
full of wonder, excitement,
and that's
and
not
just
easy
like
to do in like
enjoying
non-pop
nature.
songs. I feel like I do think like that is something that like when you just make a melody that's a chorus that's like bouncy and fun, you can build a pop song or other genres too, but you can build a song with a simple structure around that vibe and like make it capture it. It's harder to do, like the more complex you get with music, I think it's harder to like carry probably most emotions all the way through, but it's pretty hard to carry just upbeat like joy and positivity.
Yeah,
like it's not done very often, and they just really nail it with that song. It's super fun. It's definitely one that like stands out to me as a very clear highlight. Like I have a hard time. Like I feel like if like 20 people, okay, I thought it would make your.
Yeah.
I knew you would like San Solil, and I was guessing that El Pastor would make it too. I feel like you have over our time bonding over music together. I feel like you've gravitated towards like positivity in songs. Like that was something that I feel like you would call out about songs when I didn't realize how special it was. Like I remember when you like loved Beauty and Tragedy, and I was like less high on it than you, but you're like, it's just so cool how they make this riff that just feels so like happy. I was like, okay, but I'm listening to metalcore to feel depressed. What the hell? But like I feel like the more music I've listened to and the more I've sought out like not just things that make me feel good in the sense of like I need a quick fix, but like music that like gives me just like optimism in life kind of vibe.
I mean, kind of like Past Life Persona too.
Yeah, it's like just hard to find.
It's one of my favorites too.
From bands that aren't and like albums that aren't just doing like poppy music or simple music. It's hard to find it when it's still really satisfying and deeper. So yeah, anyways, that was a long tangent all to say that like El Pastor executes that really well. It's super fun. You're at the point in this story where the protagonist has like made it out of the city. They've had this like moment of reckoning and realizing that they belong out there in San Solio. That's like more gripping emotionally, still like kind of positive in the sense that they're getting out of this dark place, but like it's still a reckoning moment. And then El Pastor is sort of this like reveling in the beauty and the exploration and the novelty.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. It still gets back to a little bit of that like formula they did and with the other three songs earlier. Not a weakness. I'm just like in the sense it's actually it's almost like a layer of accessibility to a point that because the album isn't particularly accessible, but at least having a little bit of like a home base of how they structure songs does kind of help a little bit. And
I would argue like it does kind of get back to the formula of like let's do two choruses and then we're gonna
part
just
of the song that's still
go off and do another part. But like this song does feel very different.
Oh, it does. Yeah, that was more just talking about the structure. Like I just mean it is structured kind of like those other three that we already talked about. They've taken a break from it for a couple songs. And so I think the like my minor critique of like those other three is particularly because they're like all about the same thematic stuff and they're all like kind of one after the other with just Ghost breaking them up. El Pastor, I actually find it kind of pleasant that they like come back to it because it just feels like a home base a little bit. Like, oh yeah, I know this is kind of how they're operating in this song. Like I kind of have a feel for this. So I like that they kind of get back to it. That wasn't meant to be a critique. It was just more just describing that's kind of how they structure it. It's like it's a little bit of like it's frankly unfair to characterize it in this way, but the closest way to characterize it would be a little bit of like verse chorus, and then like long bridge that's doing lots of stuff that's dynamic, no returning to the chorus. That's kind of like what After Dark, Single File, Dot Work, and then El Pastor do. A little bit, all different variations of it, but this one is a clear highlight for me. This was probably the one that for like the first, when I was like 7-8 listens in, El Pastor was like the clear best, like favorite song for me. And then it's like other songs have like risen in the tide to like make it closer, but this was like the one that was like, this so catchy, so fun, and then the back half still like delivers a satisfying like punch, like gets to like a big like higher like
it does, and it gets emotional at the end too. Like I mean,
what is like the lyrical portion of the end? I don't actually know.
I don't know it by heart. I'd have to read it.
Does something happen? You'll find out where nature. Oh yeah, before you know, you'll find a home where nature grows in complex forms, stretches far beyond the sea. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, this is the song I show people first if I want to introduce them to Delta Sleep. This is the song that hooks people. I find.
Yeah, I feel like it could be this song or Sultan's Ping from this album.
Yeah, Sultan's of Ping is great too. Yeah, but I mean, if I had to pick a favorite on this album, like if I could only keep one song on this, it's hard to pick a favorite for me because I like them for different reasons. But like, if you put it in a way of I can only keep one song from this album, I'm probably keeping this one.
Okay. I was wondering if it would beat out San Soleil. I was like, it's got to be close. I knew San Soleil had your favorite.
I think it's El Pastor. There are not many songs that make me feel as happy as this song, and just like it's just the sheer like the lyrics and the feel of it, just the sheer like enjoyment and wonder of nature and. It feels like bliss. It just feels so good. And also has a really fucking cool drum beat going on the whole time that gives it a lot of momentum. It keeps your head bobbing the whole time. Like it's just it's great. It's catchy. It's good feeling. Love this song. Probably my overall favorite Delta Sleep song. Honestly.
Okay, I was wondering how high you'd be on it. I was like, you can't. I was like, it felt like a gimme to guess that you'd like it because like, I guess it's
pretty obvious
highlight. But I was like,
it's hard not to like it.
But I was like, specifically with you, I was like, it's so groovy, the drum beat stuff. Like it's sort of in there with like Dot Work and Single File. I feel like El Pastor, Dot Work, and Single File are the three that are doing the most obviously cool stuff all throughout the song with the drums. So I was like, it's got to be in the running there of like for you. And then I know you like you particularly love that like positivity and just feel good lyrics combined with melody. So I was like, it's got to be up there.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, moving on to Glass. I feel like this is another, similar to Ghost. It's another nice instrumental transition. It's not my favorite thing ever, but I feel like again it kind of serves its purpose well. It's interesting because there's a few tracks on this album that I feel this way about, and spoiler alert is why I can't like view it as like a perfect album that I wouldn't change at all, because to me the interludes, so to speak, these Glass, to me Dream Thing is kind of an interlude, and Ghost, they all kind of like they serve their purpose, and I don't dislike them, but they're just like, I think they could be a little shorter, or maybe like one of them could be eliminated, and that's actually like the one weakness that I listed on the album. Like I think you could actually just cut out one of those three, and I would like the album more.
It's got to be okay. So I maybe this isn't natural to you, so let me know if there's more you want to say just about the interludes. But like the fact that you see Glass as potentially as like a end scene, start a new scene after. Like, what is Floater then? to you?
Oh,
Like,
I mean,
what is that? What is that one like?
Floater. I think Floater is like a. I mean, Floater is intense.
Oh, I
And
really like
we'll get
Floater,
into Floater.
but
I
the
love
lyrics,
Floater.
I
Yeah.
do like it. I just feel like I don't. I see. Yeah, maybe that wasn't like a natural transition. I was just curious. Like, is it setting the stage for something? Like, I guess to me, Glass. The thing I like about Ghost and Dot Work, like, I mean, to me, I would say the three weakest songs on the album are Ghost. Or wait, did I say Dot Work? I meant Dream Thing. The like Ghost, Dream Thing, and Glass are like the three weakest songs on the album, in my opinion. But like
Yeah.
Ghost and
I agree.
Dream Thing really fit where they are on the album and feel like
Hmm.
they're progressing an emotion or building something, or with Dream Thing it's like actually also telling part of the story
Yeah.
in an important way and
Yeah.
transitioning. Whereas Glass, I just like don't really know. Like you go from this like high, and then it's like anyway, Glass is like very melancholy again,
Yeah. No,
and
I,
I'm
I
like,
agree.
what is going on?
If I
I just
had to
don't
remove
know.
if I had to remove one of those three, it probably would be Glass.
And then you go to
I agree with
Floater, and I'm kind of like, and suddenly it's still melancholy again. Like, it kind of follows the emotion of Glass a little bit, I guess. But
Well,
like,
I think Floater
what is
is less
Floater
melancholy and
doing?
more like reflective, and I don't know. It's like talking about all she ever wanted was to find.
Hmm.
Like it's talking about like basically what they got to, the
Okay, so
the
is it
difference the
victorious?
difference of what they've arrived at compared to where they were at. Like that's what Floater is. It's like
Hmm.
just kind of like reflecting on the whole thing.
Interesting.
That's at least what I get from it. Um,
Yeah. No. Okay. I mean, I see that. It just sort of emotively feels like it's not tying a bow in a way that confused me. Like
hmm,
I would say for me, and I was very like I've when I wrote this, I already feel like I maybe don't. I reread some lyrics and was like, maybe I'm just like overthinking it. But like at least the emotion at the end, like the emotion where you're getting from like that first arc of like the After Dark Ghost single file dot work, then you Dream Thing, then you have San Salil and El Pastor. You get really high. You go through all this mud and muck. You come
yep.
out of the sewers, figuratively and literally, and then you experience the beauty of this novelty of nature, and then suddenly they like have this glass. It's like, whoa, what's going on
Yeah.
now? And then they hit you with another intense one, like, and it's like taught almost has that desperation again that they had in the early songs.
Yeah.
I know we're
Definitely.
just unpacking the whole
Desperation.
end, but frankly, I feel like the last three songs weren't being unpacked altogether, at least in terms of
Sure.
the themes and lyrics.
Yeah.
And so it just feels like, wait, what happened in the story? Like, is this still story? And I didn't know. And
Yeah.
did it end in a
So
way? And like, so I have the note here that I'm like, the emotional arc of the album is really gripping all throughout. But then when you get to the end, it's sort of I didn't really know what I was supposed to feel, or what they were trying to say. And I had an interpretation that I thought was correct until I read the lyrics a little more closely. I'm pretty sure it's incorrect now, but I did have an interpretation where I thought it was a bad ending for a while that left me kind of
hmm,
disappointed.
well, I have like come to a couple different interpretations,
Okay.
and I'm not sure exactly. And I've tried to like Google it and haven't really found like Delta Sleep themselves explaining it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just like seems to be up to interpretation.
Uh huh.
But well, first of all, I agree that Glass does really feel like a party pooper after
Yeah.
after El Pastor. Um, but as far as Floater goes, I mean, first of all, I love Floater as a standalone lone song. I
It's
think
great. Yeah, it is a
like,
good song. I
and I think it has
fully
some
agree
of
with you
my
there.
favorite vocals on the whole album.
It does
Like
have good vocals.
towards
Yeah.
the end, the "All We Ever Wanted Was a
Yeah.
Life," like the when he's like just straining, like so high pitched,
Mm-hmm.
yelling, straining, like it
Yep.
just, I love it. I love that. But I think the song, it says "she" multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm wondering if it's like the main character made it out, but there's someone else who didn't make it
Mm.
out.
Interesting.
That's one thing I've thought is maybe what this song is saying, because it's all she ever wanted was to find a place where she could, he's basically saying like,
Yep.
if only she would have got out and been with me and experiencing what I'm
Mm-hmm.
experiencing now. That's kind of how I've been taking it, but I'm sure there's multiple interpretations. So
Yeah, and the opening lyrics, I knew I wanted to do a deep dive on this, so just indulge me a little bit. The opening lyrics are, "Here I stand, blood on my hands, at the edge of all I've known to exist. A life that consists of getting by under all those flashing lights. There she was, faint and dumbstruck, a passerby to all her life. Could have been a joyless routine, an empty jar at the bottom." And then pretty much the whole rest of the song is the refrain of like, "When they said to me, the sky would be a thing that you could see if you let it. All she ever wanted was to find a place where she could sit and watch the sunrise in real time, instead of through the automated screens that feed on her dreams." Like, it feels like this is telling a different story than the character who made it out. And yeah, your theory of, is it a different character? Is it just like, oh, we're now back seeing the perspective of someone who never made it out, maybe, but wanted to? I thought the connection that I made, that I was like, again, maybe this is, I think this probably isn't the right interpretation, but maybe it's just one of many interpretations. Maybe it is equally valid. Like, it might be Dream Thing. Let me read the Dream Thing lyrics really quick. There's allusions to, "They will find me and make me forget that when I wake up 2 months down the line, I would set out to do it all again." There's allusions to, if the character gets caught, the big brother entity of the city will like wipe their memory and return them to their life. And I am partially concerned that the story of the album is a character who makes it out and gets caught and returned to the city and gets their memory wiped, and then just has a memory, like a fleeting, like subconscious memory of having escaped, but is like back living the everyday again.
Oh wow! Wait, that would actually be really cool, but depressing. But
because
cool.
then that was like, I thought, like with Afterimage too. So we haven't talked about Afterimage. Afterimage
Yeah.
is then, the After Floater. So Floater, we maybe didn't give it quite its due because of all this discussion of the lyrics. I'll at least try to tie a bow on it a little bit in terms of discussing music. Totally agree. Floater's really cool. It's sort of like Sans Soleil for me. I mean, I probably not, like, it's like not a great comparison, but I just mean like, it doesn't quite make my top like few songs, but it's really, really good. Like, not a song I would ever skip if I was listening to the album. Really, almost none of the songs are songs I would skip. The only ones I would really skip would maybe be the instrumentals, and even then, I pretty much never skip Ghost because it's just such a nice groove, and really like flows right after Dark really well for me. So honestly, the only song that I would say is kind of a skip is Glass, because it just like is a record scratch moment. I would say it's like, I don't love that one. I don't feel like it's as groovy. I don't feel like it's clear to me what emotion it's trying to convey to you, or like what the purpose of that is, unless it is that like they reached this new, like the protagonist made it out and then the glass is shattered and they get pulled back in or whatever. I don't know, like what, I don't know why they're doing a record scratch at that point after El Pastor, where it's so beautiful and fun and lively.
I think, you know what? I'm in real time here. I'm looking at some Reddit posts, and
Uh-huh.
I think you're right. I
Oh,
think
really?
I think
That was
I
my.
think they never actually make it out. I think it's, well, I think they make it out and then they get pulled back in.
It's like, I
That's
was
what other
hoping
people are
that wasn't
concluding
it.
too.
But and Afterimage would be the lyrics then that you'd want to read and dig into, maybe, because that's the true ending of the story. And Afterimage doesn't read too depressing, but it does make a lot of allusions to the city as something that sits so deep in the back of her head while she's asleep. Find home again. I don't know. It's just unclear to me, and that to me,
Yeah.
in some ways, that's cool, and in some ways, I don't want. Like, the arc is so compelling and beautiful that gets to El Pastor, and then when I remember my first few listens, taking it in up to that point, being like, this is going so well, I'm feeling it, and then being like, wait,
Yeah,
now what is
right.
happening? What is happening? I don't understand. Why
Yeah.
don't I feel good anymore? And then after it starts, it's
Yeah.
like, this is so beautiful, but I feel kind
Maybe
of
it's
sad.
all
Why do I feel
bleak.
kind of
It's all
sad?
bleak in the end.
And so, like,
Yeah.
after Image to me,
Okay, I will say though, since we're talking about After Image, story aside,
yes,
which, yeah,
yep.
this is very interesting. I'm extremely intrigued right now because I didn't look at Reddit before, and now that I have,
I
and
haven't
now
looked at
that
it.
I've heard your opinion and looked at Reddit, I'm like, oh man, maybe I'm looking at this album a whole different way now. But the last song I think is an incredible closer. And
I love it.
I
Yeah.
actually have it as one of my
Yes,
highlights.
I do too. I was really wondering if they would make it there for me.
I I think for a number of reasons. I think bringing in acoustic guitar for the
Yes, it
first and only
feels
time on the
so
last song is so effective. I think
preach.
bringing back the lines from track one is so
Yes,
effective. And
so
just
good.
bringing back those melodies, like
It's a full
it's
circle.
just so satisfying. It's such a nice sounding melody, and it just gives you like to me even now I'm conflicted on the story. I don't know what to think, but but I think regardless, like it really does leave you feeling satisfied. Like it just I don't know. It's just such a good feeling, nice sounding song, and yeah, I love it. I think it's one of my favorite album closers. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
up there.
such a good album closer in the same way that Sultans of Ping is an amazing album opener. Is it like the best song on the album? No, I think we both leaned El Pastor or Sans, we both leaned middle songs as the true top song. You only pick one ever, blah blah blah. But they're both exactly where they need to be.
Yep.
Revisiting the melody, it's a wonderful trick. I wish more bands did that trick with the caveat of it's would be so easy to overdo it and do it and therefore make it feel cliche or stupid, or like a meme or whatever. Like doing it like one time and in the like last song revisiting the first on a concept album like this, tying the story to a close, like bringing the story to a close, kind of tying you to where you started and everything. Like yeah, it just is done really well. But like in some ways, that made me think of this whole like, what is this melody that is singing in her head? It's like she's being called out of the city, but then something is like in her brain that can track her or whatever. There's like the references to like there's the city sits so deep in her head, and then like
Yeah.
it almost like tells the story of like now we're back to the beginning again. Now she's called out again. She's gonna like she's so unhappy. She tries to escape again. She escapes again. It's like this cyclical thing. And
Right. I
frankly, that's a fascinating story. That's maybe even if it was the simple answer of the story of just like she gets out, it's beautiful, and there's a happy ending, that would maybe be like almost less. It would like be easier to forget about, and instead it just kept sticking with me being like, what is the ending? Is this just like I want to feel happy but I'm not sure I do. I don't know what's going
I know.
on.
But I'm just like I'm conflicted now that you say
Yeah,
that. I'm
i
like
i don't know what I think the true ending is, and maybe they
I
meant for it to be open to
yeah,
interpretation.
because at the same time as it says, yeah, I mean the with something that sits so deep in the back of her head while she's asleep, like it sounds like oh she can't escape the city,
Yeah,
right?
it sounds a little
But
nefarious, but
also at the end, like the last line of the whole album is "found home again."
right.
I don't. Well, but it's again, right? It's not found a new home. It's found a home again. So
Keeps
does that
finding
mean?
home, keeps
But
getting.
it sounds like satisfied
It does.
when it's
It
sank. So
does.
it's like, are you happy because you got out again? And this is you've tried multiple times, and this time you're actually free, or is it you're just blissfully ignorant and back to the city?
Yeah.
It's hard to
Yeah.
say.
No. Okay. Okay. I think in real time as we talk through this and I sift through the ideas continuously in my head, I think I'm deciding right now for myself because I want there to be at least a good ending. And why would I want there to not be a good ending? Like, I'm deciding for myself. It's one of two things. Either it is just the satisfying ending, and they just chose this sort of strange delivery at the end of like, okay, the story was kind of done with El Pastor, and now we're doing a couple songs just to do themes again, but the songs happen to not be like as perfectly like happy as El Pastor was,
See,
and that's fine.
before you said anything, that's how I've been
Yeah.
taking.
Okay.
I've been taking it as El Pastor was the triumphant. I made it out.
Yep.
Floater, Glass was transition, whatever.
Yeah.
Floater was reflecting on everything that happened. After Image is a
It's like,
continuation of that reflection.
yep. And
That's
I think
that's
that's
how I've been
yeah.
taking
Okay.
it.
And that I think that's
But
a
I
valid.
could be totally wrong.
Yeah, no, I think that's valid. I think the lyrics are not telling you the story blatantly, so I think I think that's a sensible interpretation. But I do think there's another interpretation, which is there's something nefarious with the city that tracks her down and pulls her back, like it comes gets her. But there's just this innate part of her humanity that longs for that new home, and no matter how many times the city pulls her back and forces her back, she finds that home again. She keeps going through again and again. Like, it could happen 20 times, 50 times. Like, every time they are like, this person, this being is supposed to be in single file and part of this system that serves us, this person keeps being called back to where they belong and keeps making it
Dude, that
back.
could totally be it.
Those are
And I
my
mean,
two
either
interpretations that
one
I'm
is
pretty
beautiful.
happy with either one, honestly, now that I've
Yeah,
decided that.
yeah,
My earlier interpretation was maybe just that, like, she had this after image of making it out, but it was just, like, a one-time thing. Like, she made it out once, but then came back, and it was, like, a weird, like, dream state where she would, like, remember the things, but, like, got pulled back into the city and was stuck again.
Hmm. I
But then
hope
with,
it's not
yeah,
that.
I don't think it is that anymore. Because with Dream
Yeah,
Thang, there's like the reference to like getting pulled back in to the city, but also like I'll do it. I'll set out and do it again. Like even if they come get me, and it says like when I wake up 2 months down the line, I'll basically I will come to the same conclusion again. Like if they wipe my memory or
yeah.
whatever. Is there something that says wipe my memory actually? Oh yeah, make me forget. They will
Interesting.
find me and make me forget. So like there's allusions to there's something that memory wipes that they like got out. But like the characters like I will like this is something so deep seated in me that like I will have
Hmm.
the same epiphany again, work through the emotions, reach the same points of desperation, and ultimately escape again.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow.
I was very curious if like what your interpretation of the story was. I've been very much waiting to
Yeah.
talk to you
No,
about this. That's
I
part of why I was
mean,
like, I need to talk with Paul about this. Figure this
I
out.
now I feel like I've had a very remedial interpretation of it, of just like El Pastor is the happy ending, and the last couple songs are reflecting on everything that happened. But now I'm like, man, it seems more complicated than that.
Yeah, knowing how musicians work too, though, is they usually mean for things to be up for interpretation. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah. Huh. Wow, that's interesting. But you know what? I mean, like at the end of the day, this says a lot for the album that it
Yeah,
can
it's a great
provoke this
story.
kind of
Yeah,
conversation
it's
about
really
its
good.
meaning.
It's
Yeah.
really enjoyable story. After Image is an amazing ending. I love like what you said. I don't think I said too much about it, but you encapsulated most of my thoughts. When the acoustic started and first time listening, I could tell that the melody was from somewhere else in the album, even after
Yeah.
it all being new. And I could tell immediately the acoustic guitar was like, there hasn't been any acoustic. Like this just stands out, immediately grabs my attention in a way that like acoustic songs often don't when they're like slower,
Yeah.
relative to many other songs. So it was like beautiful, captured me right away, and I think first few listens after Image was like my favorite part of the album, basically.
Yeah,
Um,
it's so satisfying,
yeah,
man. When that acoustic comes in, like, oh, yeah, I love it.
yeah. I'm trying to think of if there's anything I haven't touched on. I think the one thing that I haven't really touched on yet that I was waiting to get through the whole album to get to. I think both my bullet points here like are kind of the same thing. That I would say is like my biggest weakness for the album, and in a sense it continues to be, is just that basically, and like I'll call this out as like I could see this like not being as much of a weakness if when I intend to listen to Delta Sleep's discography after this song, I would say, because I really enjoyed this album. And my rating, I think it could like I think this is an album that's like probably in general, maybe not for every listener, maybe it wasn't for you, but like in general, this is like not an album that I think would be like a 10 listens in, five out of 5 stars for very many people, right? Like I think it just is complex, and it's
Yeah.
not it doesn't it lacks like sort of lead singles in a way, so it doesn't like jump off the page in the way that like some albums do, like again foiling. It's a kind of a really nice foil to the last album we did, because like that album for me, one, the drums are a hilarious contrast, and then two, the like that album for me is an album of like top 3 songs, or like incredible top 3. Like Maple Syrup is like a song of the year candidate, and like this album to me definitely doesn't have like a song of the year candidate, and it
Mm.
just has a generally like low level of accessibility. And what I mean by that, that can mean kind of a couple things, and but in particular, what I mean is like literally every time I go to like want to listen to the Delta Sleep right now, I'm like, where do I want to jump in? and it's always track 1, and it's always I want to listen to the whole thing. And then if I'm like, and then it's like, well, if I only have 20 minutes, I should just listen to it some other time. And like that's kind of a bummer. Like I wish there was like another entry point into the album that was a little easier, and maybe this will just happen with time. And I think maybe it would happen when I know the band better, and I just kind of like. To me, this is my whole experience with this band. It's just this one story, and like I want to listen. It kind of reminds me of the like. Still, I'm this way with the Deer Hunter, so I'm excited to maybe listen more Deer Hunter soon. Is like every time I'm like, do I want to listen to Act 2 or whatever? I want to jump into the same plate. Like I want to start from the beginning every time, pretty much, because it's such a fun story, and that's how ultimately how it's most satisfying and most enjoyable is like hearing the whole arc.
Yeah.
And I feel that with this album a lot, and I feel like this album. Like if you just put like one song on it, and it like this is theoretical, like it's not as simple as I'm making it sound, because the song would still be written and done by Delta Sleep in a way, like, and they clearly don't do this a lot. They didn't do it at all in the whole album. Like if you could just put one verse chorus bridge chorus song that's 3 minutes and 30 seconds long at like track 6, and have it be as good of quality as the rest of the songs, that would like raise the ceiling of the album super high for me, because it was just
that's fair.
There's one song that will like make me just want to like have that song on repeat instead of listen to 45 minutes of an album as my only way of mostly experiencing it.
I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
It's like a critique of something that's really good at what it is, for the sake of having a critique. But like I do think that right now for me will like hurt the listenability of the album, because I always just feel like I need to have tons of time to like really enjoy it.
Yeah. So. Okay. I get that. I will say, like, just in rebuttal to that, I think El Pastor kind of is that for me. It's very close. It's not verse chorus, bridge chorus, whatever. But like, El Pastor is a song that I will absolutely listen to by itself. Yeah. With no other context, and I'm very happy to listen to it.
I'm guessing songs will grow into that for me. Like, being 15 listens in or whatever that I am, maybe closer to 20 at this point to the album, it's still like kind of first blush, and it's so clearly most enjoyable listening to it all the way through, like more so than the what's the other band, Knocked Loose album. That one, by the time I was 10 listens in, I was already kind of picking some songs that I liked the most. Whereas, but it wasn't the same type of album, right? Like this one, like I almost just never have even done that yet, and I do think I'll get there. So I think this is like, my guess is I'll just like it more over time when I get more comfortable with picking individual songs and jumping in at a different point in the arc.
Yeah, but it's tough. I mean, I'll just say from personal experience, like having listened to this album probably 50 or 60 times. I'm just throwing out random numbers. Yeah, I've listened to it a ton of times. Yeah. Typically, how I listen to it nowadays, either if I don't listen to the whole thing, it's usually like I'll listen to singlefile.work. Yep. Or San Soliel El Pastor. Yeah, I would guess. Or say that, Floater After Image. Yeah. Like I'll listen to it in groups of twos. Yeah. Often. That's often how I'm interacting with it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Like just imagine this. Same album. Replace Glass with a song that is maple syrup quality and level of accessibility.
Amazing. And that's
stupidest criticism ever.
to get to the rating, I gave it a 4.5. And that to me would be the difference between a 4.5 and a 5. If it had that, it would be a 5. If it just was a little bit better, if it just didn't quite lull on those transitions for me, if it had that maple syrup in place of glass, it's a 5 for me. Yeah. It is a timeless album for me.
I can see that. It seems hard to get tired of, in the sense that the melodies aren't. There's no repetitiveness to what it's doing.
Right.
It's technical, so it's always going to have your attention in terms of creativity and like what the music's doing.
Yeah. It came out in 2018. I don't know if I listened to it in 2018, but I definitely listened to it while it was their newest album, and I'm still loving it today. So it's been at least 5 or 6 years I think it's, for me, stood the test of time. Um, but having said that, yeah, I don't think it's perfect. I do not think it's 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that, yeah, like you, exactly what you said. Like if you just replace one of those interludes, probably Glass, with just another
Yeah,
like catchy
I actually do
song.
really like Ghost. It's
Ghost
interesting.
is
I think I'm a
awesome.
little higher on Ghost and Dream Thing than you are, which is like, I mean, who cares? It's
I'm
like just
well,
interesting to knowing how much you love the album that
yeah.
like I actually think I land higher on those couple
I'm
than you
I'm
do.
I'm higher on those two than
Yeah,
Glass. I'll
Glass
agree
is the
with you on that.
biggest
I'll
like
agree
sort
with
of
you on
missed
that. If I
opportunity.
could replace one, it would be Glass for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So this is a tricky one to rate as it's just never that easy to rate, and the rating doesn't really matter at the end of the day. My rating is 3.5. I forgot to actually put it in there, so I'm pasting it in there now. It's 3.5 is where I'm at now. I have a number of caveats that I knew I was gonna say from like a little while ago that we've already kind of talked about. Like I think this is one that like it can't go down. It's only gonna go up over time, I think, because it's just high complexity and it's a band I don't know at all. And my biggest issue with it is the accessibility. And I legitimately think like this is a band where if I've listened to their other 3 albums and they're a band I'm just coming back to all the time. Like right now, I don't listen to Delta Sleep, right? This is the only time I listen to Delta Sleep. And it's this
yeah,
album and I want to listen to the whole thing. If Delta Sleep, if I'm into all the other 3 albums and they're just all in regular rotation, there's a very good odds that I'm like more familiar and comfortable with what they're doing. I start to slot a couple songs from this album on my more casual and like playlists that are in more frequent rotation. And suddenly it's like bumped up to a 4 because I'm listening to it more often and it feels easier to jump into. Like I just think if I had to guess, that's likely to happen. So it's like a 3.5. That's like very like much closer to a 4 than a 3. Like it's probably like currently like 3.75 type rating
sure.
versus like the
Yeah,
Knocked Loose was like rounded up to a 3.5, but was like closer to a 3 at the time. But felt like the strengths were definitely like there to bump it up a little. And then yeah, like also I would say the like Backseat Lovers one was like I've given 3.5s in a row, but I would say this is the one that I pretty clearly believe is the best of those albums, and it's the one that like I think if we like revisited it in a year or whatever, it would probably be a 4 if I had to guess. But like in this moment, I'm not like putting it in. It's like hard to picture how I'll like listen to it enough right now today to like make it a higher rating, basically.
yeah, yeah. No, totally get that.
So
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I feel like my perspective was probably pretty similar to yours when I first listened to it,
yeah,
and then the more I got into it, and then started listening to their other stuff, I was just like, man, Ghost City is the best. It's the best thing they've
yeah, and
ever
then you
done.
like
Yeah,
want to hit the highlights more often. I think like that's a
yeah.
cool thing with bands is like when they get your loyalty over time and put out more albums that are like when they get like a track record and basically have enough to like make sure you're revisiting them, it like it's a tide that raises all the boats because then you're like getting back into the old stuff and then you get back into the new stuff and it's like it's cyclical. Whereas when it's like the first thing, it's like that's it. But I don't literally want to like listen to this one experience, then I'm not listening to the band, and then I might not think about them randomly for like 2 months in a row.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
that's where I land. But I loved it. I'm super glad we did it because I would say like I fully. Oh yeah, and you have some predictions. His favorite
Oh
three songs,
yeah,
his
yeah.
opinion, Saintsley.
I never
I'll pass it on
revealed my
flower. Oh,
predictions.
interesting. Dave. Oh,
I
David
said
will like
you'll
the
like the
atmosphere.
atmosphere, feeling, and lyrics. I said you may feel some of the songs can
Oh,
feel a
interesting.
bit samey,
You're
which you
kind of
kind of
right.
did
Yeah,
say.
that's
Yeah.
interesting. Oh, good
Also,
guess.
you might be wishing for more melodic lead guitars. That sounds misguided.
Well, we didn't talk too
Don't
much about
think.
the guitars.
Yeah.
I think the guitars, like, so let's touch on that really quick. I don't think you're. I mean, I know why you would have predicted that about me because I love myself lead guitar. But I actually think they do really good lead guitars in this album. They just
Oh, I mean, I
don't do
agree.
it for
Yeah.
like they're not like Era, right? Era's like here's a 4 minute song. 3 minutes and 50 seconds of it are fully focused on the lead guitar. You know?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Whereas I
Yeah.
feel like what they do, and I like this because I love it not being like all in on one thing all the time. It's like, oh, second half of Single File, super sweet guitar stuff going on that's really
Yep.
satisfying. First half, very little, but like that's fine. There's still cool stuff, but it's like not the emphasis.
Yeah,
And like they
and
just
there's
come
just
and
never
go.
like there's not a single guitar solo on the whole album.
Right, which the guitar
Oh.
solos are like totally not important in terms of
Yeah,
like leading
yeah,
the quality. But
and I
like
don't necessarily think
I
that's
think they're just
important to
really
you.
judicious, and I think like when I talked about the vocals, like if you took every attribute of the album on a scale and was like which ones are the best attributes, which ones are like the least good attributes, like I think guitars is higher than vocals for me. Guitar, and I think they do a lot of really good guitar stuff because even when it's not the emphasis, it's still pretty technical and pretty engaging. So I do, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I can see why you would have predicted that for me, but I do think that for me the guitars were really satisfying. Like I also, like we called out, I loved the like after image using acoustic. It felt really powerful because it was so unique in the album and so like it's nice like album closers. It's nice when they do something that stands out, right? Like you want the album closer to hit hard in some way. There's a cliche way for it to hit hard, like the long song with the biggest climax or whatever. Like that's not what they did. They just made it hit hard in a way that none of the other songs did, and they totally executed that. So like that was an area where, yeah, is it flashy lead guitar? No, but the use of the acoustic was so perfect.
Yeah.
Floater, I did love that it was like guitar driven and intense in
Yeah,
a way that not too many other songs were. It still didn't stand out as a total highlight to me, but yeah, I can see why you predicted some of these things.
I got 2 of the 4 right.
Yeah,
so
Sultan's big, such a good intro.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say, I think also just like when I was thinking about my predictions for you, and I knew you loved San Salil, so like that wasn't even really a prediction. I just already knew that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're gonna love El Pastor, just like you predict. Like you're like, who wouldn't love that?
How can you not?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a gimme. But it's really honestly past like El Pastor. I was like trying to think of what I would predict would be your favorites, and it like the closest I got was my paragraph here on dot work because I was like, he's gonna like dot work because like the beats are so good, and like
yeah.
But
dot
honestly, how do you predict the favorites when like every song is such a high quality? Like, it's pretty tough.
Right,
So it's like you're not wrong about me not like I liked every one of those songs a ton. It's just the final ranking was a little different.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. That's fun. Yeah.
Well, that was a fun review.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Like I said,
whether we do, I probably will take a little break to let it like I don't like part of me's tempted to just like jump into more Delta Sleep, but I feel like I kind of want to like give it a little bit of breathing room. I do know I want to revisit Delta Sleep though, so we could maybe put one of their other albums in our queue.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe like I'll do. I don't know. What's your second? What do you think your second favorite is?
Honestly, dude, it's honestly tough because the one Twin Galaxies, the one before it, is extremely cool. But it's like, and then the one after it is also very cool. But like, so to provide a comparison, Ghost City is like, I'm Only a Man, and Twin Galaxies is like
The Question.
Not The Question. It's like what's it called? What's the one before that?
The Week's
Emery
End.
album.
The Week's End.
The Week's End. Twin Galaxies is like The Week's End. It's really fucking cool and fun, but it's immature comparatively.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's really cool in its own right, and it does some crazy things that they never do again.
Okay.
And then the one after Ghost City, Spring Island, is like, well, okay, maybe the Emery comparison falls.
I was like,
it was working. It was working at first. I
got the first couple. There's no The Question.
Yeah, Spring Island. I mean, it's really good. I love Spring Island, which is the next Delta Sleep album after this. Yeah, that would be the one I would recommend next.
Okay.
They also have one after that, Blue Garden.
Yeah, I'm looking at
which I didn't like personally as much.
Okay. Not as good.
But
I feel like maybe I'll do Twin Galaxies next, just because it seems harder to like then go backwards to Twin Galaxies after I've done like Ghost City and Spring Island, and then maybe we can put Spring Island on as like a future.
Twin Galaxies like is just. I would almost rather us review if we were going to review one. I'd almost rather review Spring Island.
Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. Let's.
If you want to just listen to more Delta Sleep, you should check out Twin Galaxies because it's just like fun.
Yeah,
it's just
there's a song I've already kind of listened to on it, much
Which one?
because it was the one that would keep starting after Image finishes on
Is it?
Spotify.
Wait, let me guess. Lake Sprinkle Sprinkle.
No,
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
but and it's I just couldn't resist it because the
Which
beginning
one?
is so fucking good.
Camp Adventure.
No,
Which one?
do you think there's other beginnings as good as this song's beginning? The first
Well, those
minute of the song is
the two I
honestly,
listed are like the most popular
I know
ones.
they're the most popular. I've looked at the plays, but like,
Yeah.
dude, Strong Thany,
Oh, Strong Thinny's
dude,
great.
the
Yeah.
first minute is like so freaking good. But then I've listened to it a couple times
Okay.
and it's very slightly disappointing because the first minute is just like this electric guitar jam
Yeah.
session that's just a sick riff and it's just playing off it and then they just never do any riffing anymore in the entire song. And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what the heck, dude? Just give me a
Well,
little bit of satisfaction again.
yeah.
Come on.
I mean, yeah.
I'm not saying it's
That's
bad, like, because it does have a nice ending, but and like other parts are good. It's not like it's like a
yeah.
bad song. It's just more like, why is the opening riff just a minute of riffage that's so good and you never go back to it?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. No,
so I
I
have
mean,
indulged in that. I've only listened to it like 3 times. It's not like I know
my
it that well.
feelings exactly on that song. Uh, I'll just say, as much as I enjoy that song, it's nowhere. It's like in the bottom half of songs on that
Okay, that's
album.
crazy. Just because the beginning is so good.
Yeah, but
Honestly, the
like,
first minute of that song could just be like
oh
its own
man,
song, and it would be a highlight for me.
yeah, yeah. I don't. I
It's a
wouldn't
great example. Like
necessarily.
the riffage is, that's David, right? That's David Green coming out. It's like that riff is just so cool. Like they don't do a riff like that on Ghost City.
Yeah,
Like that's the song that starts after Image, and I'm just like, oh my god, is this that? Like
yeah,
when it started playing, I was like, is this Delta Sleep again? And I like looked at, it, I was like, okay, I gotta hear this.
yeah. Yeah, I really wouldn't necessarily advocate for us reviewing it, but you should
Yeah.
listen to it.
No, I
Like,
think
it's a
that
lot of fun.
okay. That's what I want
It's
to do.
really
Yeah.
like the, you know, what's the August Burns Red album? Uh, Before Constellations. What is it?
Messengers, yeah.
Yeah, it's the Messengers. It's the Week's
The
End.
Week's End.
It's the um, what's the Showbread album?
Oh, Nihilism.
Nihilism. It's the
Oh, that's.
well, no,
I was gonna
that's
say
not
Nihilism's
accurate.
actually
No,
the magnum opus of
never
Showbread,
mind,
which
because
is
that's
mildly
actually the
depressing,
best
but also
Showbread
yeah,
album.
it actually is. Yeah.
It's not the Nihilism.
Okay.
It's the Week's End. It's the Messengers.
Yep.
It's
Okay.
it's a lot of fun, but it's definitely more immature than their other stuff.
Yeah, and I'm actually glad we landed here because I was like, I do kind of want to listen to something else by them probably before we get to another album in the album review, just because I liked Ghost City so much. But I like felt like it'd be super fun to do another album review of theirs together because this one is so. That's part of what's fun about it being a concept album. I mean, there's many things that's fun about that, but it's like I already know whatever I listen to next by them is gonna be pretty different, right? Like even if the
Yep.
music is the same, the themes and lyrics are gonna be so different that it'll feel
Yeah.
like a huge departure. So that's just gonna be like a really fun dynamic experience, and it'd be fun to like go through that again with you and be like, oh my gosh, this is like it's crazy. The comparisons and contrasts will be super fun from this album. I feel like no matter what I do. But yeah, I didn't. I was like pretty sure I probably wouldn't be able to hold off listening to like anything else by them until we did another review. So I'm glad this is helpful because I know now what I will
Yeah.
prescribe as my
Check out
next one.
check out Twin
I'll do the
Galaxy.
Twin Galaxies. That way I'll have listened to 2 albums by the time we do a third, like the next one together. I'll have a little more experience with them.
Yep. Yeah, that's perfect.
Cool.
Love it.
Well, we got to pick something else to review.
Yes, we do. Let's spin that wheel.
So yeah, well we have to decide. So we did Ghost City here. I'll delete that one out.
Oh yeah, wait.
Oh
So
yeah, you're not
do we have to
you're not
change
seeing my
something first?
stream. Well, so the other two that we had in the queue at the time when we picked Ghost City were ours and Antimai. Is there anything else that is on your radar that you're like really like we can leave Antimai in there or take it out? Like I know we kind of winging it. I'm gonna look through the list really quick, which you might just need to pull it up on your screen because
Yeah,
the screen
I'm
doesn't work
looking at
super
it.
well.
I'm
I
looking
think
at
I'll
it
leave
on-
ours on. I think
on
Falling
here.
Up will just be fun to get to with you, but it doesn't like need to be Falling Up. I mean, if there's nothing you like feel strongly about, we can just do ours, honestly. But spinning the wheel is kind of fun too, though.
Dude, I mean, yeah, I mean, spinning the wheel is fun.
Yes,
but
got you to think that's fun.
no, I totally think it's fun. I'm also like, it would be fun to do a Falling Up album.
Yeah, maybe we should just do Falling Up.
Yeah,
It's gonna be our
we
fifth,
should-
you know.
let's
We
just
haven't
do
even
it.
done
Let's just
Falling
do
Up
it.
yet on this fucking Falling
Yeah.
Up channel. Come on.
Let's,
are we doing?
Let's just do it. Let's do a
All right,
Falling
let's do
Up
ours. Let's do it. It's gonna be fun.
Cool.
It's
All right.
in some ways gonna be Ghost City's gonna be a tough act to follow. I'll call that out immediately. But in terms of like creativity and like Falling Up, I think are pretty good at creativity, and they're not like exceptional at technicality, but they like definitely mix some technicality in. But like creativity and technicality are like strengths number 1A and 1B of that album. So get ready for a bit of an adjustment with Ours. But it is another, it's not a concept album per se. I don't remember if I've already told you this. Ours is, it's like he wrote a book with it. It's an audio book.
Okay.
And that's an ugly green that I highlighted that in. Let me do a different green. So it like there is a basically a it accompanies a story. It's not like how Ghost City or Deer Hunter is telling the story, because there was actually like a book he wrote and then he narrated into an audiobook with it, and the chapters of the book are the songs. So they like accompany the chapters. And I had listened to the album for like a few years and then had never listened to the audiobook all the way through, and just finally listened to the audiobook in my like hype building for the Chilling Alpine Adventure coming out back in like the winter. I like finally was like so into Falling Up. I was like, I'm listening to this audiobook. I'm too into them. I need to know all the lore and everything. So I finally listened to the audiobook, and I have to say it added a lot. So it's kind of like, it'll be interesting. I can maybe tell you a little bit about the plot, but you don't need to like know the plot, because the songs
should I
aren't...
do that? Like, am I gonna be missing? Do you feel like I'll be like? Should I listen to the audiobook?
That makes it a big endeavor for you. I would say I gained...
How long is the audiobook?
It's not a long book.
Okay.
You can buy it on Bandcamp. It's only 12 chapters, and they're not individual. I mean, like, you might, if you don't listen to audiobooks, you might not have much of a frame of reference. Like, a lot of audiobooks can be like, a short book is like 8 hours of book, an audiobook, right? Like, I mean, Harry Potter books are like 28 hours or whatever, where it's just like, it's going to be a huge endeavor. Let me look up Jesse. I have to find where it is to... Like, I'm pretty sure every chapter is between 20 and 30 minutes, and for 12 chapters, so it probably clocks in at under 6 hours, so, which is like quite short for a book. But it's a pretty interesting story, and I did think it helped me understand the songs better in a way that I never had before. But like, I always enjoyed most of the songs anyways, but like I would say I get more out of them now. They don't tell the story really at all, which is kind of cool. It made me appreciate them more. I thought maybe they were telling the story in a way that I just didn't understand, and then what I realized is they're just riffing off themes and events in the story, basically. But they're not like just narrating something. There might be like one thing that happens in part of the chapter, and one of the songs is like deep diving into that one thing and like the emotion of it or something, or like playing off one interaction between two characters that happened in the overall chapter, which kind of just made me appreciate it more. It was like, oh, this is like a little bit more nuanced than I realized. So it's pretty fun in that sense. And like, so obviously if you're going to try to undertake the audiobook, it'll probably take a little longer for us to do the review, but that's fine. I mean, it took us like 6 weeks to do this review or whatever. So it's not like
as long as we give enough time, I'll do it, because it sounds interesting.
Yeah, so you can buy the audiobook on Bandcamp, I think, for like...
We can always just do a magic stream in between.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I would love to do a couple magic streams sooner than later. I'm trying to remember where it is. I want to be able to tell you where to get the audiobook. Okay, it's not.
No, that sounds interesting, and it sounds like my plan will be to listen to the album like a good, I don't know, at least 5, maybe 10 times before I do the audiobook.
Okay. Yeah, then do the audiobook and then listen to it a couple more times. The other thing, this is, I'm adding even more complexity. The other thing that I'm gonna ask you to do that's annoying is that I wish they would put it, now that it's been years. They basically, this was like funded through Kickstarter, so they released like the audiobook chapter and the song like simultaneously, but they put the album out one song at a time for like over the course of several months. So it's kind of put out segmented, but they actually put out if on Spotify there's 12 songs, and I will say that the 12th song corresponds to the last chapter in the book in terms of the like names of the chapters, more or less. But there is a 13th song they released called The Station that's not on the Spotify album. If you have Spotify, if that's what you use, It's
Yeah.
on like the Bandcamp. If you download it, you have to pay on Bandcamp. So like if you buy the audiobook on Bandcamp, it's like $10 or whatever it is. I don't know. And then if you can either like listen to the station on YouTube, or if you like bought the album on Bandcamp for like whatever it is, $10, then you'd have it there and you can like listen to it there. And that's another app. I have the Bandcamp app because Falling Up, basically Bandcamp is a site that I don't know if you know about. I actually think Delta Sleep has used it because like I looked up a little bit about them and people like reference their Bandcamp. It's basically a site where like the vast majority of what you pay goes to the band instead of going to like the record label. Like anything bands put
Yep.
up there is like the probably Bandcamp takes a really small fee, but none of it like goes to the label or whatever. So like Falling Up has quite a bit of stuff on there over the years, and so does Jesse Raborti, because they've released like bonus content over the years for various things that was like funded through Kickstarter that was not like through their record label. So like all the Falling Up stuff through Fangs that was on Tooth and Nails, not on there, but all their subsequent stuff's on Bandcamp. So I've like bought a decent amount of their stuff on Bandcamp to get some of the fun extras, and then I can actually listen to it on there. So like, not trying to say you need to spend money, but like if you put $20 in, you'd get the audiobook and you could get the Hours album on Bandcamp, and then you'd be able to stream the station without it being a pain in the ass. Otherwise, you have to like listen to it on YouTube or something, which is really inconvenient if you're taking a walk, because like YouTube, if you like turn your screen off, it stops playing.
Right.
But I would request that you listen to the station, because I personally think it like fits the album and has a place on the album.
Wait, so what's the 13th song
It's called The Station.
The Station.
Yeah, so
Okay.
if you go to Falling Up Bandcamp, oops, I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just pulling it up. And you like actually find their album, Bandcamp is like not the most user friendly either, so apologize in advance for that. But if you find your way to like looking at their albums, which if you like make a Bandcamp account, you can purchase, and Bandcamp has an app that like lets you play the stuff you've purchased. If you go to Hours, there's like track 13 on the Bandcamp of the album. It's The Station. Whereas if you like go on Spotify, like it just doesn't have that track.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
cool.
Either, listen to it on YouTube or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But I would request that you make that part of your listening experience, as inconvenient as it may be.
Either way, whatever I end up doing, I'll definitely listen to that song and check out the audiobook. I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, and I will say the audiobook, like you can tell Jesse's not a professional author. I'll say that.
Okay.
But also, I enjoyed it. Like I gave it like 3 out of 5 on Goodreads, and you can only give full stars on Goodreads, I think, or maybe I can't remember if you can give half stars or not. But I did like the book a pretty real amount. Like I thought it was a pretty fun story for like a guy who like does music as his full-time job, like writing a book alongside a pretty ambitious project, and it certainly was like not top tier writing, but like the story was pretty crazy and interesting. And
cool. I'm excited.
Music, so yeah, anyways, we can probably end the stream now. Thanks anyone for tuning in and listening to the album review. Had a ton of fun with Delta Sleep. Excited to explore more, and very excited to get into an album that is, my screen namesake here. It'll be fun. And it'll be a fun exercise for me too, because I'm obviously a Falling Up lover, but Falling Up is a pretty interesting case study of a band that like definitely, much like many bands, most bands have not put out a perfect album, but I would say Falling Up is a good example of a band that like has never put out a perfect album, but like has kept putting out music and like pushing their own personal boundaries and exploring new things.
Yeah.
And I feel like I haven't really went through the exercise of like how would I actually rate very many of their albums. It's more just that like it's reached the point where I've experienced them all along the way and enjoyed enough of them that I know they've been hugely influential on my life, and they have a ton of like top favorite songs and stuff for me. But it'll be fun to do like a deep dive on some of their albums with you and actually decide like where do I really rank this album in the grand scheme of things. Haven't really put myself through that exercise very often, so.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited. Yeah, it seems like they're a band that has tried a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited.
Yeah, hopefully Ours is a fun jumping in point. So, well, thanks everyone. See you next time.